Maybe they were originally thinking, oh, let's do another from the ground up version of Warzone. And now they're thinking maybe we shouldn't waste our time with that because a bunch of things will just go wrong again. And we'll spend another 2 years after that changing aspects of the game, fixing problems. So maybe we should just keep the same build we're on. And that sounds fine to me. We don't need another integration. You don't need to do that.
We don't want one.
Most games don't do that.
We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty Podcast, episode number 502. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Oh, now my second dog is barking.
There it is. Yep. The
Really
dog doesn't
bad
bark
stuff.
though. By the way, that fucking bitch you got that dog from definitely just lied so you guys would take it. She's like, oh no, he never barks. That's what they all fucking say. He's gonna be a yapper.
She's she's fairly quiet. She's just like scared of every man. She still like doesn't know me or anything.
So
So
I hope she mauls you one of these days. What are your thoughts?
no, she's like scared. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Welcome to the show, episode 502. My name's Casey, also known as Razinon. Today I'm joined by Tanner.
Yeah.
And Verdansk has
And your
been
dog.
delayed. I'm gonna go
Wait,
shut
what?
this fucking dog up, so I'll be right back.
She's gonna just run and cower in the corner from him. Yeah, Verdansk has been delayed. That's what we'll be talking about today primarily. Not much though, but it has been delayed an amount. They've made an official announcement. And yeah, so we'll get into that here soon. And aside from that, I don't think anything else has happened. Have we even gotten a patch? Oh, God, no, we haven't. I just checked the patch notes. Oh boy, no, we have not. So yeah, there's not going to be much to talk about. It's just going to be a little bit of a Verdansk discussion today. Because yeah, what are we looking at? 8 days since last patch, so whatever it was, we covered it last Thursday. Why does it feel like there was just a holiday or something? I guess there was episode 500. Which
It was
is a
episode
holiday, of course.
500. That was the holiday.
I'm just
now.
trying to think why we didn't get any sort of patch this week. Guess it doesn't matter. They don't patch
Oh.
the game anyways.
I mean, yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, we do have some announcements, but yeah, the big thing, so stick around for the end of the show if you want to hear those. The big thing, of course, is the news that Verdansk has been delayed and Warzone's canceled or something. So spoiler alert, doubt it. We'll get into it though, but first we will go through we'll check and see if there have been any patches. So for multiplayer, there hasn't been. Got it. Close that. And also for Warzone, there hasn't. Got it. So patch notes are done. Yeah.
Yeah. Classic.
Nothing's gone on. Nothing's changed. Nothing's happened. Which is fine. Kind of. Because of their supposed commitment to improving the video game before season 3 comes out in preparation for that. And so I guess we're just going to get into that now. We have basically a lot of tweets to show you guys. So we will pull these up as we get them. So first thing here, Charlie Intel. Season 3 of Warzone is set to include Verdansk, per the rumors.
Oh, wow.
It was supposed to launch March 20th. It will now be delayed until April 3rd. Activision says more news is to come on Season 3 after the 5th year anniversary on March 10th. This is like the big thing going around town right now. The countdown that's on your screen, if you're watching, by the way, is updated. So, yeah. I am a little surprised by this because this season is already very light on stuff. Not any real new content going on. Some bug fixes, a new weapon meta, which is cool. But they had even said prior, like, oh, season 2 is going to be like a fairly short season. And we're just going to work on, like, you know, smoothing out, sanding out the whatever imperfections. And then season 3 is going to drop. But now season 2 is actually going to be quite a long season. Because going from the 20th till the 3rd is, you know, it's like 2 more weeks. That's pretty big. Also, I'm not sure that 2 more weeks is going to matter very much, frankly.
Yeah.
I will say this. The game lately has been fairly playable, honestly. The weapon meta is quite good. I enjoy it a lot. We said this originally, but it's been fun. And the Cypher is like a good balanced gun that's perfect for long range. And then the SMG meta, I still don't really know what I should be using. That's actually kind of cool. It's like compact or C9 has been my kind of thing. And then, yeah. As far as bugs go, I mean, have they fixed any more since like the launch of Season 2 Reloaded? No, not really. But they did fix a lot on Season 2 Reloaded. And then a couple days after that, they had to fix some more. But like,
yeah, they
the number of bugs I'm running into now is just not that many. And well, that's not true. There are a fuck ton of UI bugs right now that are really bad. Like, I can never edit a class. I can never change a class. I can never rename a class. I can no longer update my gun in the pregame lobby. So, like, from a UI menus perspective, it's a really buggy fucking disaster right now.
Yeah.
That just isn't that big of a deal in game. On principle, it's a huge deal, obviously. But, like, in terms of impacting my, like, you know, games, not that bad. The biggest bugs that are impacting my actual game are I still mantle over rather than on top of thin, high, low, wide, fat, flat, or round ledges or walls.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what it's like. I will never get on top of it. It's not possible unless it is as wide the ledge as a soccer field, because then my character can't vault that far over. But if it's vaultable, I'll do it every time. And you have to be the most precise neurosurgeon to get on top of a ledge. And that bothers the fuck out of me, especially since they had said they fixed this, I believe, twice now. They haven't. Besides that, though, there aren't that many like super game-breaking bugs right now. So I don't really get why we're waiting 2 more weeks. I'm an adult. I can wait. And I think that's going to be fine. But it's not going to be an extra 2 weeks patching the game as it is now. The game right now, if they needed 2 more weeks to continue doing bug fixes currently, we would have seen more by now. Rather, it's going to be 2 more weeks of them working on the Verdansk map and polishing it. It's not like 2 more weeks to continue doing catch up. It's 2 more weeks to make sure this launch is perfect. So they expect almost nothing until Season 3 launches. That's not what the extra 2 weeks is for. It's not to fix the menu bugs. It's not to fix the mantling thing or any other bugs you can think of right now. It's going to be to polish up Verdansk. Is that going to matter? I fucking doubt it. But anyway, go ahead.
I feel like it's kind of the opposite. I feel like Verdansk has been done and it is fully done. And I think they're using this time to try to basically make it so when Verdansk does launch, the bugs aren't as prominent and happening. I mean, and you know, just as game breaking as they have been in the past. That's what I think. I'm sure Verdansk has been fully done. There's no way they're still working on the map of less than a month out. But I don't know. That's what I think. I don't have strong opinions on the delay, because either way, it's just it's not going to be enough time to matter. So it's like, why even? You know, like people, like even J God tweeted, you know, everyone complains about the game and now they're delaying it to work on it more and people still complain. It's like, well, yeah, but it's like 12 days. Like realistically, there's not much that's going to change. So, I mean, either way, it just really doesn't matter that much. But people that are like that upset by this, it's like, come on, it's less than 2 weeks. Be an adult. It's not going to make a difference.
Be an adult. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. And honestly, I will take it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally fine with it. The thing is, you know how I don't know if they've directly said it. I feel like devs have said it before, where it's like, well, a lot of these bugs we essentially don't know they exist until it gets put live, and there are a lot more people playing it.
Which is
so
fake,
if that's really the case, then why even delay it? You know?
Yeah, true. Also true. Yeah. That's a great question as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if you find all these
things, that's a really
things
good question, actually,
from everyone playing it, then like, yeah, what is the delay even going to do? So, but like gameplay wise, it's in, I mean, the best state it's been in VO6 so far with the gun meta
easily,
and everything, the way it's feeling. It's not saying much, but it's the best it's been. As I've said numerous times, just the Cypher being meta alone makes the game so much more enjoyable. The M4 was just never a fun meta ever. It wasn't a satisfying or fun gun to use from the start. Cypher just feels so much better. SMG meta feels nice. Sniping's viable. So all that's good. As long as we can play the game on Verdansk launch without major game breaking bugs, then I think we'll be in an okay spot. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Like the game right now is pretty fun. I mean, there are all the menu UI bugs, which are annoying. There's cheaters, of course, which is never going to change, so barely worth talking about. The mantling over shit, which is incredibly annoying, and no zipline audio anymore. Those are like the three problems right now. But compare that to day 10 of the integration. Like, boy, is it better. Yeah. A lot better. Yeah. Like the game honestly right now is pretty fun. Easily the best it's ever been since the integration. And every complaint I have now is more on principle than actually impacting me deeply. Again, the zipline audio and the mantling over shit, that actually will lose me games often. But still way better than it's ever been. So yeah, the game like isn't in that bad of a state right now. But you're right about this delay. It's like they themselves had said explicitly somewhere they don't know, they can't know that they said it when they had fixed zombies, like Citadel was super bugged when it launched. So they did a patch where they fixed a ton of it, and they had a blurb in there where they were like, yeah, sorry guys, we actually just don't know if it's broken until it goes live. So then we talked about how I don't believe that that's true. I just don't think they QA test. And then also, how is that even possible? And also, like you just said, which is such a great point, if that's the case, what is another 2 weeks going to do? You're still going to get blindsided by bugs. I don't know. How they're spending these 2 weeks is the big thing, but it ultimately doesn't matter. And I would, if they think they need to delay it, I'd rather they delay it. Yeah. Because here's what's going to happen. It's going to launch. It's going to be a mess. And then I'm going to laugh and say, guess you didn't need those 2 weeks. Or they didn't do anything, or they didn't do enough, or they did a lot, but you guys are so bad that it still wasn't enough. Because look how buggy the game is now. So here's the main takeaway you should take from this. You can wait. You'll be fine. Relax.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Also, this should not give you any hope that this will be a relatively smooth launch. It won't. It will be a fucking disaster. The likes of which you have not seen since actually day one of the integration. Not kidding. Maybe worse. Very possibly worse. In terms of bugs, audio, unintended consequences, weapon balance will probably be nuts, but that's not going to be a big deal. This will not be a smooth launch. They could delay it another 2 months. It will not be a smooth launch. They can't do it.
Yeah,
so.
that's the thing. They could just delay this till next year, and they're still gonna have a bunch of issues.
Yes.
I might also be getting it confused with that video, the video Sub 1 KD put out, where he was talking about why all the bugs get pushed to live, and in that video he had kind of talked about essentially QA is on a different build of the game. So a lot of the things once the live build goes live, I didn't watch the video, but I saw like some he had like tweeted about it and said other things, and he was talking about it in our Discord. Basically, it's like that live build ends up being different also than what they tested. So again, it's like, well, then what is delaying it even gonna do?
Then test the fucking live build then. What? Why
that's
waste
what I
your
don't
time
understand
testing
either,
a build that's not going to be put in the game?
That's what I don't understand either, but
Yeah,
I guess
it
that's
doesn't
like normal. That's how game studios do.
Change
no
it
idea
then.
how
Fuck
it works.
studios.
But,
yeah.
Absolute, what he said in chat, I think they're delaying it to build. People talking about Verdansk is probably not getting as much attention as they want. That's not it, because they haven't started marketing it. So yeah, it's not getting any attention. They haven't said anything about it yet.
Yeah.
The only people, I mean, there are a lot of people talking about it, but it's only the COD community. The average person who doesn't play COD and just like scrolls Instagram reels and is a casual gamer, they don't even know Verdansk is coming back yet because they haven't started marketing. So that'll ramp up a lot this next week for sure, and there'll be a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, that I agree. They don't really market anything for very long. Even the new games that come out, you don't really start seeing like ads and shit until like actually like 10 days out. If that,
I feel like you almost
wait
can't
till the last
now.
minute.
Yeah, you can't. There's just like so much happening everywhere on social
100%.
media that it's hard to start talking. Like if it was like 2005, 2010, you could market a game months out. It's like, oh, the new COD comes out in 3 months. Now it's like you just can't do that. It'll get lost in everything else, basically. And by the way, that we might have to put a 10 on lag, a mod, by the way. Let's go back to 120. The servers are ass. I mean,
that's an obvious 10.
Is that a 10 for the mod?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, lag, you're getting fucking 10. That pissed me off a lot.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
We'll see in 10 minutes, lag.
Yeah, that's another thing I guess we should talk about. I don't know if we talked about this publicly, but I feel like we did. We did. They went to 150 players. That is working. That's like every game there are more than 120 now. Literally everyone. Yeah. And also, the servers feel exactly the same as when they're 120. So like if you're like lag and my servers are really bad, yeah, they would have been really bad if there were 60 people. It has nothing, I guess, to do with the player count. So
yeah,
that's another thing that's been kind of fun is 150 players.
Yeah,
that's helped a lot
definitely.
too. A little chaotic and crazy, but unless you're playing in like a demon lobby, that's fine. That's fun.
It's just different too, more than anything, because since we've had this map for so long, just playing the same big map on a different player count is a nice change of pace, no matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything different at this point is good.
I agree. So anyway, Verdansk is delayed, and on that note, Charlie Intel tweeted this. Here's he says potential list of the names for the different POIs. This is the list of the different POIs, and I hope that helps. This is
Alex, though, so it can
but Charlie Intel is vouching for it.
Yeah, okay, we'll get into it.
I guess, we'll see, whatever. Here's what Charlie Intel tweeted on the 1st, 5 days ago. Here's a potential list of the names for the different POIs in Verdansk when it returns in Warzone. So, here's the list. Block 17, Block 23. Don't know what those could be. Zokov Boneyard. Okay. And then also another one called Boneyard. So now I'm confused, and that's not fine. Gora Bridge. Okay, I don't know what that is, but fine, it's a bridge. I can do bridges. Grozna Bridge. That fucking bugs me. Maybe. Actually, I'll have to think about it. But if the map Grozna Raid is in Warzone...
Wait, were we just joking about that? Wasn't I saying that?
Yes.
Like 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
No.
And I'd have to think about How would Grozna Raid play if you just
That would
put
make
it
me
in Warzone?
so happy. It fucking great, honestly. It's a nice
It would
area.
be good
on a
in
big
Warzone,
map.
I
It would
think,
be
actually.
fantastic. Yeah.
I think that would be, yeah, like that tower, it would actually be fine in Warzone, so I'm not bugged
Before
anymore.
you keep going through these, there's no way these are the actual POIs. I think this is just a list of small different areas. They're not even going to be like named POIs on the map. Like obviously there aren't going to be 4 different bridges that are considered a named POI on the map.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, you're right. And also there are obvious omissions here. Like where is airport? No matter what version of Verdansk there is, there's going to be an airport and it will be a named POI. Nothing like that is on this list.
I'm thinking block, by the way, is prom.
Pardon?
Maybe somewhere over by Promenade. Block 17 and block 23.
Oh, yeah, could be.
Because Promenade's not on this list.
Yeah, could be. So anyway, Grozna Bridge, Great Bridge, and Karst Bridge. And then Coast. What do those 4 things imply strongly to me? There's water. Because why are you going to name a bridge if you can just walk under it? You wouldn't. I don't think.
That was my thought too.
Yeah.
The fact that there are bridges named makes me think also they'll be more important, which means there'll be water on them. Oh.
Yeah. So, anyway. Next is Coast. Oh, I said that. I don't know what Coast could be, by the way. We'll go through these after I read them all. Krovnik Farmland. So it's just farmland based. Gora Tunnel. Gora Village. Okay. I'm thinking maybe by Summit. Like dam area. The tunnel. There are, I think, other tunnels on Verdansk. I don't remember any of the other ones, though. Prison. So we know what that is. In the bottom right corner of the map. Novi Grozna Hills. Okay. Jarvdinsk. Spomenik. Okay.
What is Spomenik?
Lozov Pass. Storage Town. Styor Memorial. And, of course, Atlas Superstore.
So Spomenik is memorial. Means monument or memorial. So the Jarvdinsk Memorial. I know what that is and where it is.
Could be that like little art piece that is kind of by going from Promenade to downtown on the edge of the map. You know how there's that like weird statue?
Yeah.
And there's like nothing else there? Like that could be a memorial, maybe, right?
Could be. Nobody knows.
No one knows, huh? So according to JKN, all of the blocks are, I guess, by Millie. So here's the thing about this, honestly. I don't really care what the POIs are called because I kind of know what the map's going to look like, right? So like, I don't think much of this is actually very informative. With the exception of the bridges and the coast, because that implies water.
Yeah, he just sent me a list or a TAC map of the Warzone mobile map, and it seems like they're basically just copying names and POIs from the Warzone mobile version of Verdansk. Because yeah, there are things called Block on here. Gora Tunnel is just outside of Dam. It's that one tunnel going like on the west side of the map there, on that little hill that we had been talking about, where you couldn't jump up, and when you fell down, you'd be just dead.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
That's the tunnel. And yeah, some of the blocks don't really make sense to me. Like one of the things that was named a block was like the building that I thought was a restaurant or something. I don't get it, but oh, there are a lot of blocks. Comms Tower is block 23. Okay, and then there's something called like the Winged Memorial. So okay. I don't think the map though is really much different in Warzone Mobile. Like everything is named something different, but it looks like the same type of buildings and same layout.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah. So I mean, honestly, not too interesting. I was hoping maybe there would be something there, but there really isn't. Other than, again, I think having like all the named bridges. I also want to know what coast is. That's my only like question. Because again, a coast implies water. So like, where is that? Do you see anything named Coast on that little map?
I'm looking. It's hard. It takes a while to go through this because like every single building they have named essentially. So you have to go. You have to pick one area of the map. So you pick port, and then there are like 20 screenshots of different little named areas.
I understand it now. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Let me see here.
I was thinking Coast might be down here, but I'm not seeing it. Yeah, Coast isn't part of port. It's part of prison? No? Yeah, I don't know.
So like I pulled up just a random map of Verdansk. So here, yeah, here are some of the names.
There is a coastal memorial. It's south of Hills.
Yeah.
Like south of Prom. Oh yeah,
Yep.
and then all the bridges are named there too. There's Great Bridge, West Bridge, Gora Bridge. So okay, that's yeah. It's just like the named micro POIs. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I knew what they had named Coast though. But I guess it would be by port, wouldn't it?
Well, south of Hills, the map I'm looking at right now is called Coastal Memorial. So I assume that whole area south of Hills is just called Coast.
Interesting.
Probably.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. The reason I'm asking is because, like, you could argue a bunch of things are like the Coast, but
yeah,
if one of them is actually named Coast, that's where you might expect to see some more shit going on.
Like you might, yeah.
Not going to be a huge deal either way, but
kind of makes you wonder if some of that whole water on the south of the map or all of it would just be playable for some reason. It would not make any sense at all. But yeah, if they're naming something port, maybe there are some boat spawns there or something. Not sure.
Exactly.
But.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, not a huge deal there. Now, something that's fairly interesting. Here's a rumor via the Ghost of Hope. And this was also tweeted by Charlie Intel, which does give it some gravity. Details on COD 2026, which will be Modern Warfare 4. So this is iDubbbz's next title. It's not going to be this year. It's not going to be the next COD. It's going to be the COD after that. Not releasing on old gen, so PS4 or Xbox One. Okay, let's do that for this year.
They should have done this 2 years ago, yeah.
Correct, but good. Okay. It is in development on next gen Xbox dev kits. Okay, so the new Xbox, I guess, will be out by then. The UI may be more traditional, like older games, is another rumor. I don't really know what this means.
Why this is even a bullet point irritates me.
Times New Roman instead? I don't know what that means.
It's like the layout. Like Ghost of Hope gets his little cock hard on like UI. Like he always talks about like, imagine if we load up COD 2026 and it has like classic like Call of Duty 4 UI, where like on the left hand side it's just all the buttons like find a match, create a class, instead of like the horizontal way at the top of the screen you have it now. Just shit that really isn't that important. Some people get rock hard over that. Yeah.
It bugs me that even matters at all. Yeah. So anyway,
it bugs me. It's in the tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Engine updates to fix visual clutter issues. Okay. Again, what does the engine have to do with visual clutter? Here's the idea. If there are visual clutter issues, remove the visual clutter from your map.
Yeah. I don't believe this because they did it last year. Sledgehammer changed it last year. We didn't have visual clutter and shit like that in the game, really.
Yeah.
That's why the gunplay felt really good last year. Most of the guns, some of them, didn't have smoke. The HRM, the best one, for example. That's why it was one of my favorite SMGs of all time in Warzone. Probably number 2 looking back at it now after the Blixen. No visual recoil. It had recoil, some, but it was just the iron sights moving up. It felt perfect to use. And when you put on it was the Zeman, I believe, 0 muzzle smoke, none. It took it all away.
Yeah.
If they could do it with one gun, they can do it for everything. It's a design choice. There's just no way this has anything to do with the engine. They could change it. They did it last year.
I agree. Because yeah, so this also depends on what visual clutter means. Because like, It could be like, yeah, the muzzle flash, visual recoil bullshit, in which case that doesn't really have to do with the engine, I don't think at all. Or it could mean like visual clutter on the map. So like you're playing favela and you put a bunch of trash like in every lane. But in either of those cases, what does that have to do with the engine? Like if the map is visually cluttered, just don't put those assets on the map. There's nothing to do with the engine. Or if the gun has a bunch of visual recoil or visual clutter, gun smoke or whatever, it just hotfix it out. They did that also, yeah, like you were saying, when that game launched. It was really bad, and then like the next day it was gone. So yeah. I don't know what this means either. But again, this is a Ghost of Hope tweet. So unfortunately, we rather recently said Ghost of Hope has been getting better, and because he used to be a real dumb shit, basically, tweeting insane shit, and then he had a hot streak, and I think we've kind of fallen off again, because I don't know what that means. I just don't know what that means. And then also last one, and the biggest one, Warzone may not be supported if Verdansk does not do well. I almost want to look at the original tweet here, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know why you pull up the Charlie Intel one, but basically it's almost the same. There are a couple things worded differently. I actually put the one down there. He said no, quote, Warzone 3, end quote, if Verdansk fails to retain current/returning players.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so here's Ghost of Hope's tweet. I should have just pulled this one up, because this is what Charlie Intel's referring to. No old gen support, traditional UI like the older games. Engine being overhauled to address MW2 problems like visual clutter, etc. Okay, yeah. Being developed on dev kits for the new Xbox. And then no, quote, Warzone 3, end quote, if Verdansk fails to retain current/returning players. Okay, so that's the big thing. And a lot of people have been talking about this. So ooh, that sounded and felt good. I just don't believe this. I don't believe they're going to DMZ Warzone. Because like with DMZ, they made DMZ the game mode. They supported it for like a year. And then after that, they were like, all right, well, you guys can still play it, but we're done updating it. So like, have fun. That was it. And this implies to me that that's what they want to do or are thinking about doing with Warzone. I would be amazed if they did that. Now, to be clear, there is a possibility that like Verdansk comes out and then we have even fewer players. That's technically possible. But in practice, it's not. There's just no way. Will Verdansk bring up the concurrent player count from where it is now? Not in the long term on its own. It won't. But here's what I see is happening. Verdansk is going to come out. A ton of people are going to come back and play it. If it's fairly bug-free, people will stick around for a while. If it's not, they'll stick around for a week, maybe. And then it's going to drop off to about where the numbers would have been if we never got Verdansk anyway. And the player count's going to depend on how fun the game is, how buggy it is, and how many cheaters are in it. I don't think Verdansk is going to be a strong enough launch to bring back a ton of players and keep them around for a year. I just don't see that happening. But I also don't see it. I also don't see it like losing even more players than it has now. And at the current player count, which is the lowest it's ever been, I find it very hard to imagine Warzone is losing money on the whole. And the only reason they would stop doing Warzone is if it was losing them money, which I just can't imagine it is right now. Eventually they would stop making Warzone if it was losing them money. But they make a ton of money on Warzone. and they have to be spending less than they're making on it. Like, they just have to be. So I don't know where he got this information. I don't know if he's accurately quoting his source. I don't know if there is a source. I don't know if he's just making shit up. But I mean, of course they're going to stop doing Warzone if it has literally 0 players, like, obviously. It's just there's no realistic world where this happens. So
yeah, Pat asked, define Warzone 3. Might just mean they don't do another integration, which is good, ? He kind of addressed that in other tweets. I'll just read one of them, actually. So, like, Mr. Pro Westy tweeted at him and said, no Warzone would solidify one of the greatest fumbles ever in the history of gaming. Imagine having one of the most viral, successful, and biggest money-making games ever and managing to kill it dead through insane mismanagement. And then Hope said this, Warzone 2 fumbled the bag, not even Raven's fault, really. That is true, because Infinity Ward developed Warzone 2 again from the ground up.
Yep.
We'd be in a much better spot, actually, if they never did that integration.
100%.
But can't go back and change that. And then he says, not sure why people are entirely shocked. They may not want to put further resources into a mode that has been around for 6 years and continues to see diminishing returns. They still make so much money. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
like,
there are less and less people playing multiplayer every year, too, probably. So
yeah, exactly.
it's strictly being... It's the devs' fault right now. That's why, I mean, even last year, we wouldn't be having this discussion if this was Modern Warfare 3 Warzone. The player counts were higher all of last year. Literally all of last year than we've had the last 3 months post BO6 integration. January, February, and now the whole month of January, the whole month of February, and then considering the last 30 days, like just taking Steam into account, those every single month, lower numbers than we ever had last year during MW3. It's their own fault for launching a buggy game. They can obviously somehow get back to where they were, but they're going to have to, put out a lot of good updates. Verdansk is going to have to do very well. And, people might start trusting them again, but they don't just scrap the game. Yeah. So the only other thought is kind of what Jakin said, or maybe no, Warzone 3 just means they will keep updating Warzone 2. So yeah, it kind of might just be that. Maybe they were originally thinking, oh, let's do another from the ground up version of Warzone. And now they're thinking maybe we shouldn't waste our time with that because a bunch of things will just go wrong again. And we'll spend another 2 years after that changing aspects of the game, fixing problems. So maybe we should just keep the same build we're on. And that sounds fine to me. We don't need another integration. You don't need to do that.
We don't want one.
Most games don't do that.
Yeah.
You just continue to build off the game you have. It's crazy to build it from the ground up again every 2 or 3 years.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, that was another thing I said in Discord when this tweet dropped. I said, which I stand by, this almost doesn't matter because I don't know what it means. Like, what does no Warzone 3 mean?
Yeah.
Because, does that mean Warzone turns off all its servers? Does it mean it doesn't integrate, but you keep updating the Warzone we have now, which is what we want, by the way? Does it mean they stop updating the servers or doing an integration, or the game, like DMZ? Could mean that. So, like, or it could even mean instead of Warzone, they make Blackout 2 or something. But that's another thing, is like, if they did stop whatever doing Warzone, I do not see a world in the next 2 years where they stop making a BR. So even if there's no Warzone, they're going to have a BR. They're not going to release their stranglehold on the BR market share that they have. They're not going to do that. There's no chance they're going to do that. That would lose them so much money. And Ghost of Hope saying like, oh yeah, why would they keep investing money into Warzone or time, whatever, when it's giving them diminishing returns? Because it's still giving them returns. They could be diminished from $10 million a second to $7 million a second.
Yeah.
But you bet your ass they're going to keep making $7 million a second and be happy about it. even though it's not as much as last year, which was 10 million a second or whatever, they're still probably making a fuck ton of money. And it's not like they're going to be, this isn't like some guy. That's another thing. Activision isn't just some guy who's like, I have enough money. I'm good. I'm not going to keep updating Warzone. I'm bored. I'm lazy. I'm done. This is a whole company. Yeah. So if they were going to stop doing Warzone, it would be, they would have all the resources that they were devoting to Warzone. The only way they would stop that is if they had a new project they wanted to devote those resources to. What could that be? I don't know. But that's, but it would probably be another VR or something. So yeah, this is all just insane and it bugs me. And I want to know what his source, who his source is and what his source actually said. Because I have a very strong suspicion this is just, his source told him like, oh yeah, we're not going to call it Warzone 3. Like that's the actual statement. And then he just said this, which is like totally not at all what the guy meant.
He might have just said there won't be a Warzone 3 and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
But yeah, Hope said some other things too, because a lot of people were like, oh, good. Like if Warzone's gone, then like those devs are going to come to multiplayer. Multiplayer will be a lot better. And then he's like, no, it doesn't. He said the teams working on Warzone they'll be laid off. It's not like they're just going to move them over to multiplayer and have way more devs for multiplayer. It's like, it won't change anything. You realize that, right? Multiplayer is going to be the same and Warzone just wouldn't exist if they actually can it, which they won't again, but funny.
I think that's probably true though.
Because like
alternate universe.
Warzone Loadout did a little tweet, did a little poll, and he asked, let me find it. As a Warzone player today, would you return full-time to multiplayer if Warzone was stopped? Obviously, this is a Warzone-specific Twitter account, so keep that in mind. But almost 80% of players said no, they would not return to multiplayer full-time if Warzone was stopped. And that's me, too. If Warzone really did exist, again, not going to happen, I am not going back to COD 6's. Fuck no. And I would say probably 75% of our listeners are in the same boat, if not more.
And we were multiplayer mains before Warzone.
Exactly, but once you've had something better that you like a lot more, there's no going back. If we had never gotten Warzone, I would still just be enjoying multiplayer, and I wouldn't know any different. But now I know something that I like a lot more and fits what I want to play more.
Yep.
So if it goes away, again, it's not going to, but we're just talking here. If it were to go away, I would not go back to COD multiplayer. Fuck no. I would be done with the franchise completely, 100%. So
yeah.
And then my last little thought was, this could kind of be related to the no Warzone 3 might mean like, yeah, Infinity Ward isn't developing a new version of Warzone, because from kind of what we've been hearing already, it sounds like they're really, really trying to go all in on DMZ in their 2026 title. So it may just mean that they're going to do DMZ only, and Raven will essentially do whatever they want with Warzone from there, maybe. And they'll share the same map probably. Which would honestly probably be ideal.
Thank God.
I kind of have some faith that they could turn DMZ into something somewhat playable, better than what we had. And I think a lot of people would probably enjoy it too, because yeah, it was more popular than I think we realized from the start.
It was somehow,
and not for us, but definitely there is a player base for that. So I think they could really expand on that and turn it into something huge, honestly. But
yeah,
probably wouldn't be for us. So maybe that's kind of what they're getting at, is Infinity Ward during their own title year would just not, they would not update Warzone because we're focused on multiplayer and DMZ.
That would be so good for me, by the way. Fuck, I would be happy with that. Keep Infinity Ward the fuck away from Warzone forever and ever. Forever. All time. Never let them touch it again. That would be best case scenario. Yeah. Because as bad as Raven's been this year, and they've been quite bad, nowhere near what Infinity Ward every single time they were in charge of Warzone did to it. They always made it only worse. They released it, and that was the one and only good thing they did for Warzone. That's it. They released it. There's like, oh, hey, check this out. It's like, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Terribly implemented, but cool. It's kind of fun. And then they broke some vials in Wuhan, and then it became a national success, Warzone. International success. And then every other time they were in charge of it, they just made it worse every single time with every tweak they did. So if they can be in charge of DMZ instead, oh yeah, you guys know what's best. Go ahead. Don't care, won't play it, and stay out of Warzone. That'd be great. So yeah, I mean, this could mean so many things. I don't even know if Ghost of Hope knows what he means when he says that. I don't know. The tweet bothers me though, and yeah. So anyway,
you're pretty bugged by it, huh? Yeah.
I'm bugged by it. Yeah. So, on that topic though, by the way, here's what I've been saying.
Will I go back and...
This is a video of Timothy the Tattoo Man, who says that even Verdansk may not convince him to return to Warzone.
Wow. Oh no, old Timmy's not coming back. No.
I haven't watched this video yet, but I have a sneaking suspicion he's going to say what I've been saying people like him will think and say. That's my guess. I don't actually know. You ready to play this?
Yeah, it's going to be, the game's not the same. It doesn't matter. The map doesn't matter. Let's play it.
3, 2, 1, go.
Will I go back and play Verdansk? I probably will, but I don't see myself going back for more than a stream or two, candidly. I mean, right now, because I have Marvel Rivals. Do you see this? Do you see what I have over here?
Wow.
I have a brand new game that is trending with very good updates, constant updates already, and it's being done well. This is really good. Do you see this? This is bad. This is bad. This is good. We love this. We don't like this. Do you get it? I want to make something very clear. I want Call of Duty to be dope, bro. Playing Verdansk in its prime, those are the good old days. I'll say too, I think Marvel right now for me, this is going to be a point we look back and was like, yeah, that was a good glory day. You know, I'm not that excited for Verdansk to come back. I'm more excited for I like Marvel. I don't know. I'll say this, man. I'm streaming Marvel Rivals right now, like 12 to 14 hours, like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. I'm just going. And I guarantee I can't play 10 hours of Verdansk in one day.
Fucking no.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even 4 to 5.
Even one,
and that's the tweet. That's the video. I mean, yeah, this is something we've been saying. And I've been using specifically that example, Marvel Rivals, for a reason. A lot of people, that exact thing happens to. And a lot of big streamers whose clout would have otherwise helped carry the game. They got off Warzone because somewhere along the way, whether it was Warzone 2 or BO6 integration or Caldera or whatever, they were like, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here. And then, assuming season 3 with Verdansk is perfect, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, that was kind of fun, but I had a good game, and then I ran into TTV Grits, who has 800 billion wins, who did 8 recons and zoned me in the final circle. He also had every mechanic known perfectly, perfect information, slide canceling. I haven't played in 4 years, and I'm almost whatever, top 300 in Marvel Rivals. I'm done. Oh, and I don't have my gun leveled. Oh, and there's someone under the map sniping me. I'm done. I'm playing Marvel Rivals now. Obviously, people move on. And even again, if the season is perfect and Verdansk is really great, not buggy, not that many cheaters, weapon balance is fun and good, is it going to be enough to bring people who had quit back for a while? I just don't think so. I think if it was perfect, it'll keep them around for maybe, it depends too though. Here's the thing about it. Depends on what their friends do. If someone plays these games by themselves and they have fun with it when Verdansk comes back, they might actually get roped in for a long time.
Yeah.
But if they have friends who are, for example, totally random example, playing Valorant now. Doesn't matter how much fun they have when they come back from Verdansk for a sesh or two. All their little friends are still playing Valorant. So unless all their friends come with them back to Call of Duty, back to Warzone, they're going to go play with their friends again, playing Valorant or whatever. Because again, they've moved on. So like, and this is best case scenario assumption. There aren't going to be that many people that come back and stick. Day one's going to have nuts player count. 100%, it's going to be nuts. Day 10, an uptick if it's good. Probably pretty not so much if it's bad, which is probably going to be. But that's the thing. Like, people move on. Doesn't matter how good it is. It's going to be very hard to keep people around.
And again, you keep a lot more players around if you decide to unlock everything going into Verdansk.
True.
Then players can casually come and go as they want. Like,
true.
Like a totally random example, but maybe if you had a friend that now plays Valor and doesn't play with you guys anymore, he doesn't play the games you play anymore,
and he's balding,
and he's moved on, and he has a new friend group and he plays Valor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is he likely? So that random person might come back and play with us on launch. He'll have an okay time. If everything's locked for him and we have to like drop him guns and buy him things, it's not going to be the same.
True.
After that session, he's going to go back, play Valorant with his friends. He's going to come back to Verdansk maybe once more, deal with it again, have no perks unlocked, have nothing meta. He's gone again. And he's probably not coming back. If that totally random person, has everything unlocked, the chances of him coming and staying periodically, he's never going to be a COD main again. That random person's just not going to be a COD main ever again.
Yeah.
But if everything's unlocked, it's so easy for that person to come and go as they please.
Yeah. True.
Just hop on randomly, choose whatever you want, play the game, hop off. That's what they have to do this. They have to do this or they're not going to succeed. And the chances of them doing this, I think, are very, very low, nearly impossible. I don't think they're going to do it.
I think they might try to do it. I think the odds are actually higher than I would normally say, because they're in dire straits right now, and they know that. So, like, normally I would say they're never doing this, but they need this badly. So I think they're going to be willing to do things they would otherwise not be willing to. JKN said JGod's idea was to make the default loadouts meta builds, and I thought it was very smart.
That makes sense. That's one way around it.
That's a decent way. The problem with that, of course, is that the devs would have to know what they're doing to do that. So,
and they'd have to keep that updated, and they wouldn't.
A dev meta loadout would be like Mountaineer, Overkill, and like, I don't know, reactive armor with some dumb gun, like maybe the right guns, like a Cypher, but it has 5 attachments and it has like a 4x on it or something. Like, I don't have faith in the devs to actually build a correct meta loadout. That would be the problem with that. I think another maybe smarter way would be like, you know how you get those free gifts in the store every day and it's like a 1 minute of double character XP?
Yeah.
It put in there on do it like every day for like the first 2 weeks of Verdansk. If you are on the game, you go to the store and you could claim your free like welcome back to Verdansk bundle, and it just has in it weapon blueprints for all of the meta guns. So it'll be the Growl, the HDR, the whatever other guns they bring back on day 1 of season 3. And have the blueprints have good attachments on them, or at least do their best. They're not going to be perfect, but they'll be close enough. And then that way you can at least also start leveling the gun up right away, and then you could put your own perks and shit. I think that would be a good idea as well. But there are a lot of ways around this problem.
And they might be having something like that because Reality UK had actually tweeted on March 1st that it looks like they're bringing back the daily login rewards for season 3. And he posted a screenshot of those daily login rewards we used to have, where like when you would log in one day, you get this. If you do it for 7 consecutive days, then you get something even better, which I don't remember what it was. So maybe they do something like that. Maybe they almost make a reward tied to gameplay. It's like play Warzone for 1 hour and you unlock the HDR. Play Warzone for 3 hours, you unlock the growl, stuff like that. So there are a lot of ways they could do it besides literally just everyone logging in and having every single item fully unlocked. And since they have this whole prestige system and everything, I guess you almost have to tie it to something else, something rather than just fully unlocking it. So yeah, maybe they will. But yeah, J God's idea, I didn't know he said that. That is a good idea to make default loadouts some meta builds. But once we get to Season Reloaded, if they actually do weapon balancing and the things change, guess what they're going to forget to change? Any of those meta loadouts. They're going to gut the Cypher. Actually, they're going to gut the Cypher on the launch of Season 3 when they add in these default meta loadouts. They created the loadout in Season 2. That gun's going to be torched, and they didn't update it. So cool. Now all the new players are going to be using a gun that's terrible, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they don't think about those things.
Right. Yeah. It actually wouldn't.
They just have to. They have to do something like this to allow players to get guns and perks easily and quickly. They have to, or the game's dead.
Yeah. I agree. They do. You know what else they have to do is get one consultant that plays the game one time. Like they really just have to, because they just don't know. Weibo with the $5 super chat. Let's go. Very long time listener pod. Not very active on chat, so take my money. I will do that. Thank you, Weibo, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Yeah. Look, it's delayed. That's kind of it for the episode today. We have some announcements, but on this topic again, I mean, it's delayed. We'll see how much that's going to matter. I would not have your hopes very high. As far as we are concerned, people who already play the game, it's going to be fun because everything's going to be very different. 150 players still, no more balloons supposedly, buffed sniping supposedly, no more gulag kits and tokens, so your life's going to matter more supposedly. Vehicles are going to be way better like they used to be. So a lot is going to be very different. And if you've been playing Warzone a lot, it's going to be fun because it's going to be so different. The question is just going to be how buggy is it and how many cheaters are there? Because a lot of people are going to want to start cheating in the game when Verdansk comes back. But how will this launch be for people like Tim the Tapman who haven't played in years? That's the more important question. It's not more important for any of you listening because it's not really going to apply to you, but it is important for you guys because the more players that are playing the game, the better it is for everyone. That means you have less sweats in your lobbies. It means they have more money to update the game more, whatever. So it indirectly is very impactful to you. And that is going to be, I think, the big question, because the reality is, if you've been playing Warzone since the integration, you're not going anywhere. They have you, and they know that. So whether the launch is done really well or really poorly, you're still going to be playing. They know that. So you don't really matter that much. The question, and therefore, the player count is not going to change very substantially if this launch is a disaster. It's going to be about the same because it can't get much worse. The only people left playing Warzone right now are very hardcore players. So if the launch is bad or really bad, which I'm honestly expecting it to be, then the player count's going to be about the same. They're not going to lose more players. But that will be really bad. If they don't gain more players, that's going to be really rough. So they do need to do a lot for the new frogs. The game has to be functional and they have to be able to keep up. So SPMM is going to also be giga cranked. That's another thing too. And you know what they might do also is force returning players or new players into like the boot camp mode. So instead of just allowing them to play Warzone boot camp or whatever, it might not be exactly like how Warzone boot camp is now, but they'll be like, no, you have to play it 10 times before you can play like BR. They might do something like that. There's a lot of things they could do. We'll see if they do any of them. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think, by the way, do you think the player counts from Verdansk, like early on, like day 1, 2, 3, the first weekend, do you think we see anything close to like the peak numbers we had during Warzone 2 or like a game integration or no? Like BO6 integration on Steam, the peak players were around like 200,000 to 300,000. Do you think we see anything like that close to it, or do you think it's much, much lower than that?
I think it's definitely gonna be lower. I don't know how much lower, but I mean, when Warzone 2 launched, the hype was nuts because we had never had a new Warzone before.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That was Infinity Ward's return too. And everyone loved Infinity Ward back then for some reason. I didn't. So people were extremely excited because they were like, man, I've been liking Warzone for the past 2 years, whatever, but I'm really ready for like Warzone 2. That's going to be so fun. Boy, were they fucking wrong, obviously. Yeah. But I think the hype for that is even higher than like, oh, we get to play on the map, Verdansk. And like some new gun skins come out. I don't think the hype is there for that. I think it's going to be pretty hype, and I think the player numbers are going to be pretty fucking high. Like certainly 100K plus on Steam, easily. On that day 1 of season 3. But it's not going to pass peak Warzone 2 numbers now. Because like it's also been so much longer now. Like people have just moved on, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know? You've lost them for too long.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, peak got Warzone 2 was crazy. Almost 500,000 peak on Steam at one point. That was nuts.
Insane. Yeah.
All for everyone to play it one time, and then immediately 200,000 people stopped playing it less than a week later. Yeah.
Yeah. For great reason.
They really just, God.
We would
sad,
be,
man. They
I
really
know, dude. Like you said, we would be so much better off.
Time because of that.
Yep. We would be so much better off if it weren't for Warzone 2. Actually. Because they wasted all the time developing all that shit, and it was terrible. And then when they could have been developing something decent or good, and then they also had to waste even more extra time reverting all that shit. It's like we just lost a year in a black hole of development time we could have had toward actually improving the game. And then also we lost so many players that are never coming back because of that.
We had a year of it being
We had
a year of it being terrible in Warzone 2. We had a full year of them improving it substantially in Modern Warfare 3. And then we get it ruined again in BO6 with bugs this time. Not directly just gameplay, just a ton of bugs that they couldn't fix. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, such a bad cycle, man. But yeah, it's just gonna be interesting because we've never had a big map come not with a game integration like this. So very interested to see what the player counts will be. If it'll be anything close to a title launch. If it'll barely change the outcome at all. So, gonna be interesting.
Yeah. We'll see. For sure. All of that said, I'm excited for season 3, man. The 2-week delay has me thinking we're gonna be getting even more than what's been leaked. Not like a ton more or anything, but like there's gonna be maybe some little event or some like more new goodies for the returning players or new players. I don't really know, but I mean, with how little we've gotten in season 2, in theory, there should be a lot So I'm excited, whatever the case may be. I'm really excited, actually. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be nostalgic. And it's going to be a mess, too. It's going to be a fun and exciting mess. I'll be very tired of it after a week, but...
Oh, you'll hate it, yeah.
That week is going to be glorious. So, anyway, that's about it. We do have some announcements. Welcome to our newest patron, Barry H. Our newest gold patron. Thank you, Barry. Welcome aboard. Patreon.com/thedropshot. We did a lot of bonus eps very late February talking about Verdansk, actually. There were a ton of Verdansk leaks we had gone over. And then we did a separate episode flying over Verdansk. And that was fun because we had forgotten about a lot of charming micro POIs. And seeing them again was actually really cool. So if you guys wanted to watch that or listen to that, patreon.com/thedropshot. Thank you again, Barry. That's pretty much it for announcements. Other than this, on Saturday, I want badly to talk more about Verdansk. I don't know if there's going to be much more to talk about, though.
Oh, there won't be.
Probably not.
Next week there will be, though.
Certainly not. Yeah. So we'll see what we do Saturday. But we will be doing an ep regardless. We might actually want to talk about Warzone right now because, again, despite the two glaring issues I have with it, it's been pretty good and fun and different. So maybe we do like a little public brainstorm or something. We'll see. Let us know what you guys think and want. But we will be here on Saturday. Thank you for watching and listening. Activision devs so obviously don't play their own game.
No.